So it's day 9 of SSSVEDA, and that is, how do you volunteer your time? Well, now I live here in Fuerteventura, I'm actually not volunteering my time at all. The only place I could possibly volunteer is at a local dog pound, where there's a great team of volunteers who walk the dogs and clean them out and do things like that. But just at the moment I find that just too depressing. There are just too many unwanted dogs here. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to do that. So I thought I'd talk about how I did give my time for over 10 years. I was a special constable in Northants Police and wore my hat with pride. For those of you that don't know, special constables in the UK are unpaid police officers with full police powers, and they work alongside regular police officers as and when they can spare the time. I used to work one shift a week, normally on a Friday or Saturday night, with a particular team of regulars who I got on with really well. I had some great experiences, things you would never learn doing anything else, quite frankly. Before I became a special, I wouldn't have said I was a particularly unconfident person, but it certainly does help your confidence in lots of ways. You get thrown into situations that you have to deal with because you're wearing uniform. Everybody looks to you to deal with it. Certainly when I became a special, I didn't think I particularly came from a sheltered background, but you soon realise that you probably did, because when you experience firsthand just what one human being is prepared to do to another human being over nothing, and the way people live, then it does open your eyes. I'll take this hat off. There are lots of stories I could tell. Perhaps the one that springs to mind was one Christmas Eve. My shifts were working early shifts on Christmas Eve and I wasn't working, so I decided, very rarely for me, to get up really early and go to the briefing and start with them at 7. So we did, and I was crewed with a female officer, Jo, and we'd all arranged that we'd go out and do a few jobs and then meet for breakfast somewhere, as it was Christmas Eve. Which is what we did. We all went off and did some jobs. In fact, we were the last crew to head off to where we were going to meet up for breakfast when a call came over the radio asking for a volunteer to go to a sudden death. Well, being the only ones that weren't there, it fell to us to volunteer, so off we went. And when we got there, it was a house on a housing estate, and we walked in. There were 5 children under 10 years of age. The boyfriend had called the police. His girlfriend was upstairs dead, died of an overdose on the floor. He discovered that morning when he came round. Obviously the kids had all seen her dead. I ended up looking after the kids for a while downstairs while the undertaker came and doctors and the sergeant, etc. And the youngest one, I think he was about 4, and I was trying to give him a bit of a cuddle, because what do you say to a 4-year-old when they say to you, "My mum's dead"? You know, it's heartbreaking. And to set the scene, the house, but they were five children with 5 different fathers for a start. The house, although it was Christmas Eve, there was nothing whatsoever in the house to even indicate that it was Christmas Day the following day. There was no decorations, there was no Christmas cards up, there was absolutely nothing. As part of the procedure, we searched the house looking for other drugs or evidence, etc. And all the kids' bedrooms were just, the whole house was just a mess, but the kids' bedrooms were a mess. There was no bedding on the beds. They just slept under dirty old sleeping bags and duvet covers. We went through the cupboards. There wasn't a Christmas present wrapped up and hidden in sight. There was absolutely nothing. Those kids weren't going to get a Christmas. And their Christmas, probably for the rest of their lives, will be remembering that their mother died on Christmas Eve. I remember getting home that afternoon, and my mother was staying with us for Christmas, and I told her the story of what had happened that day, and it spoilt her Christmas. She spent the rest of Christmas thinking about those poor kids, even though she'd never actually seen them. I still miss being a special. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot, I really did. to be truthful, I wasn't necessarily doing it to give back. I was doing it for selfish reasons because I enjoyed it. But hopefully in the motto of Northants Police, I did make a difference at times. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.